Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for the Geek Podcast on this Monday evening. With me, as always, we have my co-host, Peter Ray Allison.
Good evening, everyone.
And our special guest tonight, last minute, VCastro. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm glad I could do this.
I appreciate it.
I have no social life, so I'm home.
I was like, oh, it's just going to be another podcast with just me and Pete talking rubbish and stuff. And then he went, I may have a guest. And then he told us what you did, and I went, oh my God. Right. So before we talk about it, before I sort of kind of ruin it. So who are you? What do you do? What is it you've just written?
Yes. So VCastro, Violet. I write horror, science fiction, erotic horror, sci-fi horror, any kind of version of horror or science fiction. And I just dropped the Aliens Vasquez book. So, people, Vasquez is one of those iconic characters that we, remember. She's so amazing. Of course, we all know what happens at the end of Aliens. She dies.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. It's for a 30-year-old film.
People have had how many years?
Just on that point, we did a bit of a scientific sort of kind of thing. We went to a convention and we asked people how long is it before it's okay to spoil things. The general consensus was after the DVD comes out. So if the DVD is, that's it. But you had people who were like, it's never okay to spoil things. And I was like, so if I hadn't seen Star Wars and somebody went, look, I am your father, then that's ruining it for you and stuff. And they're like, well, that's like, rubbish. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
No, yeah. So we know she dies, and so I'm just like, she's such an amazing character, but what's her backstory? You don't get a lot of backstory in any of the films on what's happening on Earth, really, when you think about it, and or where any of the anybody's their family, except for Ripley, when you find out like her daughter's dead. When she's just been cast out in space. You don't really know much about any of them and their lives on Earth or what Earth is like. So, I wanted to get her backstory. I show a little bit about what's happening on Earth. And of course, it's an aliens book and you've got to have aliens. So I give the story of Jeanette up until her death, but then I carry on her legacy with her children, because you need to have
see, that was my question. I was like, how do you get past the whole she's dead thing?
Yeah, you have to kind of, it's like I tweeted about this, but it's like that scene in Jurassic Park where he's like tapping and he's like, you will have some dinosaurs on this dinosaur tour, right? He's like, they're going around like looking for dinosaurs in Jurassic Park and there's like no dinosaurs. So I had to like go beyond her death, and because that was the first time she encountered them. So basically, part of her backstory is she had 2 children, because in the movie she's quite young according to the canon, and went to space, and then her children, who never knew their mother, raised by their aunt, her sister. They kind of want to carry on her legacy and her mission, I guess. And I use that through I'm Mexican, Dia de los Muertos, where you do honor the ancestors and the dead, and so you get a bit of that.
I've got 3 Mexican skulls, painted skulls
nice.
in my thing I got when I was in Mexico. Yeah, they're cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I got all of that, in there, and just a lot of cultural references, and it was just such a blast to write. So I'm going to write a pitch for the second one, and let's see what happens.
Oh, so you got it's going to be like a trilogy in the end?
I don't know. I literally have no idea where it's going to go.
She's such a cool character, though. Vasquez was just so good. Like, as a character, she was just, and I preferred her to Ripley, to be honest, in a lot of ways and stuff. She was badass,
She was badass. She's hot. She's fun. She's Yeah, I know. And as a young girl, you growing up, I'm 43, so, back in the day, there weren't a lot of characters like
Well,
Ripley or Vasquez, really. Um, Peter, you're talking about Disney princesses before.
Is
you
Vasquez
know,
a Disney princess?
yeah,
just
the best kind. I mean, yeah, I loved stuff like The Princess Bride and, Labyrinth and
Yeah.
all those films where you do have kind of the princessy female leads, but I mean, she just made a mark on me. She was just like,
yeah.
wow, you just couldn't forget her.
It's like, hey Vasquez, you ever been mistaken as a man? No, have you?
You,
Yeah,
I
but
love
that's
it.
but that's the
The
thing.
sass.
No one cared about her gender in the Marines. Could she
No,
could she lay down suppressor fire with a smart gun? Yes, fine, we like you.
yeah.
Gender, but apparently that I remember reading some trivia about aliens. There was originally going to be a scene, like a shower scene, where just all the Marines were just showering together.
I heard that, and like kind of, what it's like that in
Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like in the film, yeah, exactly. They're all walking around there.
Oh no.
Okay. Um. Oh,
Sorry,
and then
you went off there for a minute.
sorry,
I
I'm
think
here. I'm
it's
back.
auto censored you when you were talking about boobs in the showers. Probably that's what it was.
Oh,
no, it
oops.
hasn't. It hasn't.
Okay.
You can do whatever you want. That's right.
No, yeah. So like Starship Troopers, where they are like they did to go there. They are naked.
Yeah,
But that was a bit later than
yeah, that was
Aliens.
yeah, it was like early 90s, wasn't it? Starship
Yeah.
Troopers. Yeah, and yeah, to remember to read like, but it still comes across. I mean, they don't care about if you're a girl or boy. Can you fire a gun? Yes, fine, you're a Marine.
Yeah.
It's like she's got like if you think about Aliens, the film and stuff, there are sort of kind of one-liners in it, and a lot of them are hers. So you've got that one I just did, but you've always been an asshole, Gorman, and then you've got let's rock, and then she sort of kind of kicks off with the smart gun and stuff, and it's just like those ones are sort of ingrained in my head, and it's just like yeah, she's badass.
Honestly, I actually had a few one-liners in the book when I wrote it, but I had to take them out because they were too spicy and saucy. And
Can you say what they were, please?
no, well, okay, one I will.
Okay, cool.
But so, but if I get to write the script, which I would love to, I am putting them in.
Yeah,
I
big
am
time.
putting them in. So basically, they go to this. I have this bar in there called the Rooster, where all kind of like Starship Troopers, they all kind of go hang out before you leave, and it's like again, men and women, everyone just kind of hanging out, mixing, and basically the motto of the bar is, "You got to come before you go." Because the colonial wars, you don't know if you're going to die.
Yeah.
And you see, and it's quite, it's space. You can be gone for 20, 30, 50, who knows how long asleep. So, but I had to take it out.
Here's one sort of question that has always sort of kind of perplexed me slightly, right? So when they're on the what's the
Sulaco?
Sulaco,
It's
yeah, they're on the Sulaco. Hudson turns around and goes, "Is this going to be another bug hunt, sir?" Because I always thought they'd faced aliens before, because they said about another bug. They talk about another bug hunt. So I was like, have they faced these things before, or is it just sort of different alien species or not?
I don't know. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, because he says this is going to be another bug hunt, sir, and it's just like it's always been a thing in my mind. It says, have they dealt with xenomorphs before, or is this something? No, obviously they haven't actually. Thinking about no, because she has to explain what they are and stuff. But they've obviously dealt with something
similar.
Else. Yeah, something similar and stuff.
They've never been mentioned. And when you write the books, you do have to look at the canon of like where else has the character been mentioned, what has been said about her, how does it all fit together. And same with like the xenomorphs, like you have to keep to what's been kind of already said and established, and you really can't go beyond that and go really wild. I mean, I was able to do some fun stuff, like in the experiments, but the actual xenomorph, I had to kind of keep, and there's one particular xenomorph, a badass one that I named La Reina, and she's like a really massive queen, a big queen. But they've like experimented on her and done all this crazy stuff to try to make her more docile. And so I could do things like that. But yeah, you really have to kind of watch where you go and how you tread. Again, like I really have quite an interest in the engineers. I think they're, the space jockey and the
Yeah,
fur,
yeah,
and
yeah.
but again, they were like, nope, sorry, nope, can't do that. So
Who said no? Who said no?
the studio, I mean, it's IP, so the licensor, like,
Really?
no, we
Because
don't want.
I've just finished playing Alien Fire Team Elite, Alien Fire Team Elite, which is awesome, really good game. And they had a campaign which had all the what are they called? It's not from Prometheus. All the alien types from Prometheus and stuff.
Deacons.
Yeah, they're just kind of the white ones and stuff. So they had all of those and stuff. So it's a bit weird that they've turned around to
the engineers.
Yeah, it's pretty weird that they wouldn't let you sort of kind of deal with that sort of thing.
Maybe they want to keep it for the games, the RPG stuff.
I mean, when it came to like planning out your novel, did you have like a series Bible to work from, and like, this is where we're up to, this is all like kind of the information that's out there?
Sorry, I had to laugh because he put that thing over the screen again. Yeah, I had to go. Actually, they gave me a few different like interviews, and so there were a few pieces. Obviously, watched the films. I watched all the films again.
Yeah.
Even though I've seen them many times. But they gave me, the key pieces of canon, like interviews. I didn't have to read every book, but because she wasn't mentioned in very many things, it wasn't that difficult. And there is one comic where they mention like a nephew named Cutter. So I mentioned him, but because I didn't write the story, I didn't want to like intrude on someone else's work, So I mentioned it, and obviously that they're part of the family, so I had to acknowledge, I couldn't pretend they didn't exist.
Yeah, because there was an alien
comic.
There was an Aliens comic back in the late 90s, early 2000s called Aliens Colonial Marines, which included a descendant of Vasquez. Was that it? Am I thinking of something else?
Well, I've got the Google list now.
This is a comic. So this is a comic.
Yeah.
And the kid is named Cutter, but again, it's like not even. It's not like a whole storyline that's really detailed with him. But so I didn't really have to do too much, but I did want to know, and I read the comic before.
I typed in Cutter and aliens into Google, and I got aliens. Alien cutter, alien pastry cutters.
No,
alien pastry cutters. I was like, okay, well, there we go.
I think I'm shopping after we.
Okay, yeah. Wait a minute. You got here Cutter Vasquez. Cutter is a second relative of Vasquez that appears in Alien comic series. Yeah.
So I mean, when it came to kind of expanding on Earth, I mean, the only reference to Earth we get in the Aliens films, I think, is the fourth one, where they go, "Oh, all you get is Earth. What a shithole. Why do you have to go here?" Completely dismissive. So I mean, when it came to like creating Earth, how did you approach it?
Well, so if it's funny you mentioned Aliens, the fourth one, because at the end, I don't know if you remember, they land and it's decimated, and they mentioned in the film that there was like a huge pandemic or a plague. I tried to put that in there, and because of COVID and everything, they're like, no, you can't. So I had to just say like, there was like really shitty healthcare. Well, not as, I had to kind of work around it where I still, because I needed to have Jeanette's parents die. So I'll just say that without saying too much, but yeah, so I basically wrote it where it's borderline dystopia, like just taking the problems that we have now on Earth and making them worse. Like as if we just don't care and don't do anything about homelessness, about healthcare. We don't do things about education.
So America then, basically. Sorry, I'm joking. Okay, I'm joking. Bad joke.
Yes. So yeah, I had to, but I mean, because in the canon, she's from LA, and I move her children to Texas, and one thing I do put in there is where she's a victim of police brutality in the US, in LA. And then by the time her children arrive, all of because androids, I find the androids in Aliens so cool. All the police force are androids on Earth.
Okay, right.
And there's a scene where the android cop is like, I am unbiased, I am blah 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 blah, and just very matter of fact about police work in this one instance, to show kind of, it's like, well, if we have all these androids in space doing all these things, what would they be doing on Earth? How are they manufactured on Earth? What would it look like for them in their daily lives? So I put a little bit of that again in there. Nice. So you do see some Earth.
How did you so obviously you had to go through the studio to sort of, did you write something beforehand and go, this is what I've got? And then they kind of went, nope.
Yeah, I had to pitch, then write a big outline.
How long was the entire process? Like, especially given you had to collaborate with the studio.
Oh, a year or so? I don't know.
That's actually quite fast, given for especially collaborating.
Yeah, but I had to write. I wrote the book in 10 weeks.
Whoa!
It's like, okay, can we get it now?
Okay,
it's like, tomorrow.
And how many words is Vasquez approximately?
92.
So 92,000 words in 7 weeks.
No, 10. So
in 10
I wrote
weeks.
84. I wrote 84.
Yeah.
And then after editing, it ended up 92-ish.
Most people sort of go down when they. Wow,
that's 8,000 words a week.
But it was so fun.
Yeah, true.
It flew out of me, and also the outline was so detailed and so thick that I could literally just go through the outline, because it was like no spoilers, just everything.
Everything was kind of structured out already for you.
Yeah.
I mean, are you by nature a planner, or do you kind of?
I'm a pantser. I'm the worst. I will literally write a paragraph here, then there, and dial. I am literally, if you were to see the first thing, you'd be like, what? Published? What is this chicken scratch?
So for you, like, look, as a pantser, how was it coming into like a very structured process?
I mean, because I wanted it so bad, like I did it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. But it made it easier. But I don't think I could do that for my own work, just because I am so free flowing. And again, because there are certain things I had to put in there, certain things I couldn't write, that had to be in the outline as well. Whereas when I write my own stuff, it's just like, I can write whatever I want. I can write unicorn kittens, or that like eat the hearts out of, the elderly. I can write whatever I want. It doesn't matter. So yeah, it's that it was nice to have that discipline, but I don't think I could do that all the time.
Yeah, just get like for something like Vasquez, you could, yeah.
Yeah, because it's already established, and you have to have those parameters that, I mean, it's not my own work. I mean, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how did this all first come about? Like, did Fox approach you, or did you approach Fox, or was it through your agent? Or
So it was really crazy how it worked. And I believe in like the universe and serendipity and manifestation and all those crazy things. So like years and years and years ago when I first started, I've always loved aliens and Vasquez, and I wrote a piece of fan fiction. I just had this idea. I just had this burning idea. But it was originally an AVP story. And because I love Predator, I'm a huge Predator
Have you seen
fan.
Prey? Have you seen Prey?
Not yet.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Have you not seen Prey? So good. So
I
good.
know. I need to. But I've just been
writing a book.
writing books, finishing up projects. Like, that's the thing with the writer. You're always kind of.
Seriously, you need to watch it. It's potentially one of the best Predator films. I
just love the book.
Yeah.
I mean, love the films.
Yeah.
I'd love to write the book, but but that's that's another thing. So I wrote this, and it was just a passion. It's something I loved, and then I started writing my other books, and started to know people in the horror community and sci-fi. And I was talking to a fellow author that wrote for them, who wrote aliens books, and he was like, "That is a cool idea. You need to pitch it. Let me introduce you to the editor." And he introduced me, and that was it. But it was something I had seen in my mind, something I felt, something I wanted. I planted that seed. I had to tweak it, obviously, but it was something that I always wanted to do and felt like I was the right person to do it, And just having this deep passion and love for the franchise and the genre, and also be able to give her an authentic voice.
I just think the AVP, like, there was so much good material for AVP, like Hunter's Planet and stuff, and they just didn't do it justice. The two AVP films are dire. Like, they're just not. No, Pete, they're not. They're not.
The first was okay.
No, it's not. It's not okay because they made it like PG. They made it really sort of kind of PG so they could sell it to kids and stuff. So you had a lot of good concepts which they completely destroyed.
And the cast for the where the one where they're in the
Mayan temple.
Where they're in like the Arctic or whatever. I mean, the cast is stellar. It's insane. It's a crazy cast. It actually has that an Irish actor who I absolutely love. He was in he was the villain in it's a horror film. It's so good. About the babysitter.
Oh god, I'm gonna look him up. What is this?
Yeah, he's Irish. I'm pretty sure he's Irish. He's amazing.
IMDb. Yes. Let's give it a whirl.
Yeah, exactly. Go on IMDb.
IMDb.
I'm like and he's in the William Wallace film with he's in Braveheart.
Is it? Tommy Flanagan. Is that Tommy Flanagan?
I think so.
He's the only one because you've got Ewan Bremer, who's in like Train Spotting and stuff like that. So you do have sort of some, I wouldn't say biggish names, but sort of kind of known names in there and stuff.
But it's a solid cast.
Yeah, it took the Hunter's Planet and destroyed it. Hunter's Planet was such a good comic, and they just didn't do it justice. So I watched it and just went, this could have been so much better, but they've just went, well, we need to cash in on this, and they've destroyed it. And then the second one was just
I didn't see the second one.
Yeah. It was just they were trying to make it like Aliens, but really overly cheesy, and it was just. Yes, yeah.
I haven't seen the second one.
No.
I think like a book would be. I think you could do some cool stuff with a book, with more books.
Yeah, the original AVP comic was very, very good. set on a planet where basically aliens are released by predators to hunt. There's already humans down there, and the humans are basically caught in this war between them all, and it was done really, really well.
Yeah.
And the subsequent adaptations of it have just been crap.
I mean, it's when that's the thing when you go from story to film, you know, it's a business.
And also like dilution of the vision, because you go from one person's vision to like a director, and then there's creature designers, set designers.
How much is it going to cost to do?
Then you got the whole budget thing.
The thing is, I don't, you know, especially now, I don't think budget is as important as long as you've got a really good story. Prey is a very good example because it was done on it wasn't done on a massive budget. It was a TV film, effectively. Went on Hulu, which is on Disney Plus, and you know, you can tell it's not high budget, but it's what they've done with it. It's so good. Like they've basically taken.
Oh, I can't wait.
You know, it's you know they made potentially one of the best sort of Predator films out there. So it's like it goes like Predator this, and then you got sort of Predator 2, and then Predators, which is all right and stuff as well. But yeah, it's just so good, so good.
Nice.
Did you have any? What have you? There's probably an Aliens TV series coming.
I've heard.
Have you had any potential like feedbacks, or you can't mention this because it's going to be in that?
No, I haven't had anything. I wish. I hope. Well, no, seriously, today I just literally got a tweet tagged that, like, you know, the books arrived at that said like at the Disney Studios or something. And I'm like, ooh, who's reading it? Please contact me to write the script. Please contact me to, you know, do something with it, because I would absolutely love that. I think, you know, I'm gonna write the pitch for the second one, and take it further, take them further into space, see more of the Xenos, and more queens, and and there's like a bacteria in there, so they have some kind of protection, but not obviously you can't have like a single like a kill thing where it'll eradicate all of them, because then what's that going to do? So kind of some unfinished business.
And are the Weyland Yutani still the sort of big bad guys?
Always. But yeah, I put a little intrigue there where, you know, Yutani might, you know, they want to kind of go their separate ways. They want to sabotage Weyland. So I kind of pit the two together in the book.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted some corporate sabotage and espionage, because I mean, look at today, like, you know, all these big companies taking over that company and getting together, but it's at the top of the chain. You've got a bunch of egos, you know, so how does that play into what's happening in the colonies?
I mean, because corporate espionage and sabotage has always been a major thing of the Aliens film. Like Aliens, you know, look at it. It's basically one guy screwing over an entire colony just to get his hands on some xenoarchaeology. If Burke hadn't, you know, sent those colonists to go out to that, like those quarters, none of this would have happened.
Burke's such a good character as well. He plays him so well.
I know. He's so nasty.
He is.
But that's what I wanted to show. Like I wanted to kind of do that scummy side of the company where they're just what can we exploit? How can we make more money? And you see that, and yeah, I like the dynamics of what's happening between Weyland Yutani, and then because I do like Prometheus. I know that's a controversial subject. Some people are like,
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either.
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
I bring in another family.
Oh,
Meredith's line.
Oh, nicely done. Very, very. Oh, I'm looking. I will have. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm literally going to Amazon right after this, and I'm going to order.
So you have a new kind of, because she's not Vickers in the film.
No.
I mean, she's Vickers. Sorry,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
not Wayland.
No,
Her last name is Vickers.
Yeah.
Is there
So
gonna
I
be?
bring a Vickers. I bring a Vickers into the fold.
Oh, that's going to be very cool. Yeah, because I remember watching. I was more interested in what was happening on the ship, rather than what was happening on the planet.
Mm.
Yeah, because I found that was much more interesting. Like, oh, what's going on here? Why are they doing it? And then it's like,
I mean, I was entertained again, but I find the whole engineer thing interesting.
yeah,
And then,
absolutely. Yeah.
And then David is a character. What a character! Like, the androids are always like fucked up.
Yeah. I remember I remember reading this observation that the androids named go in ascending alphabetical order. You got Ash, Bishop.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder in Alien Resurrection.
Oh,
and then
wow.
and then you got D for David in Prometheus and Covenant.
Oh no, I'm going to look that up. Alien.
Oh, I haven't even heard. That's cool.
Yeah.
But you're giving me
Call.
an
She's
idea.
called. She's called.
Call. Yes, it's Call.
Yeah.
David, and so.
No way.
So,
that's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love little things like that. Yeah.
And it's giving me an idea for the next one.
So you're gonna have one called Echo. Oh, so
yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Ooh,
okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, and
or Eve.
Eve.
Oh no, but that's like in the what is it? The other one. No, her name's Eve in that other sci-fi film. No, it's not. It's not in Aliens.
Yeah. Mother? No.
You know the one where it's real Species. Her name's Eve. I think.
Yeah. Species,
oh yes.
Right. I was actually thinking Wally for a minute. Eve.
Oh yeah, that's right too.
Wally.
Yeah, because Species came out. Was it about mid-90s, late 90s, something like that, around that time? Anyway,
We haven't had an evil female android yet. They've all been.
Yeah, those been male, haven't they? I mean, because Cole was ambiguous. That she wanted to kill Ripley, but then she couldn't.
Yeah.
And
she was some special kind of model.
Yeah, I think like she was an android created by other androids or something, if I recall.
She had like Christianity. She was a Christian or something, wasn't she? She had like a religion, and she had like religion and stuff, didn't she? I try to block out Alien 4 most of my, I don't sort of, just the only thing I can sort of kind of semi-remember is the sort of hybrid alien at the very end and getting sucked out the air.
Yeah.
Like a baby.
Yeah.
No, I thought the experiment part was interesting on that one.
Yeah.
I actually like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's really messed up scene where one of the scientists is kind of mimicking the aliens' movement, and then licks it. And
that is so gross. Like... I remember that.
Yeah. What are your like? So out of the four Alien films, what order are they in for you?
The second one.
Yeah.
The first one, and then the third one.
And the fourth.
But I really like the third one a lot.
Yeah.
I think the prison colony. Again, I like the cast a lot.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Really good.
Yeah.
I think it's completely
the
underrated.
cast was excellent.
I'd have that second.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a cool concept to be on like a prison colony. That I love I'm really sad that, her lover, what's his name? The British actor. I love him.
Charles Dance.
No.
Why? I did not want him to die.
It is Charles Dance. It is.
Why did he have to die?
Alien's
Alien. Oh, the Doctor.
Right, yeah. It's Charles. He's Charles Dance. I'm sure it is.
Was it?
Yeah, Charles Dance.
No. Really?
Come on, Pete. I thought you were an Aliens fan.
I am. Wow.
It's Charles Dance.
I actually, because I liked that film so much and that character. He's in there because he was a doctor and he was overworked, and I actually put that into this book, a problem with Earth, because the basically they're all, you know, the healthcare system is so overloaded, and there's all of these illnesses going around. Basically, you get to see that in action, like the overworked, the drug use, the alcohol abuse of healthcare workers on Earth, to tie into that part, because I thought it was quite interesting.
There's a lot more to it. There was going to be a lot of extra stuff. The aliens, which they changed. There was meant to be like a floating wooden planet and things like that going on. And
William Gibson's original idea for Alien 3 was to have a wooden planet, and this to be not a prison colony but a religious like sanctuary on a wooden planet, which sounds weird. But then it's William Gibson.
How do you write a wooden planet?
Well,
like,
yeah,
how does it stay in space?
Exactly.
No idea. But yeah.
Or maybe everything is made of wood?
I have no idea. But yeah, that was just a really out there idea. But then it is, like I say, it's William Gibson.
Do you know who? Talking about Charles Dance, you know who one of my favorite characters Charles Dance does is the bad guy in Last Action Hero. I think he's amazing.
I've not seen that.
Is that with Arnie?
Yeah, you know, Last Action Hero. So it's basically the one where it's basically a piss take of him being an action film. So this kid goes through, he gets this magic ticket. He goes through the projector screen and then goes into the movies. And it's basically Arnold Schwarzenegger playing this, you know, his character, and then thinking that, you know, this is life. And the kid's trying to explain to him that this is all a movie and stuff. And Charles Dance's character, he plays this sort of kind of glass-eyed, like this glass-eyed sort of assassin in it, and he's amazing. He is so good because he's just quite proper, very quick-witted and stuff. It's just really good, so good.
Oh, you know what I like him in, and another people might be like, ugh. He is in Dracula Untold, and he plays like the vampire, and he's such a good vampire.
Wow, I'm gonna check that out.
He was in the recent Sandman as well, wasn't he? The Netflix Sandman.
Yes.
Was he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He plays the he basically plays
himself.
But he's sort of I can't remember the name of the character he plays, but he's in the first couple of episodes, or the first episode.
Oh yeah, he plays the occultist.
Yeah, the cultist leader, basically. Can't remember his name. Yeah. Basically the father of actually, without ruining things for people who haven't maybe seen it.
Roderick Burgess.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. He's such a good actor. It's sort of he does get typecast quite a lot, to be fair, but you know, he's quite good at being a shitbag. Though I think him, it's not a sort of kind of like he's quite good at playing a methodical, well thought out shitbag and stuff. So it's like when he's playing Tywin.
And you know what? Americans love like his accent and the way he presents himself, because he's quite posh and he's, you know, he's and honestly, for an old dude, he's kind of hot. Sorry, he is. And like, and of course in Aliens, when he's like young, I mean, he's damn. I'm like, hello. You can no wonder Ripley went for that. I'll be like, hello.
I mean, if you look at all the aliens, they always have a strong cast, don't they? Just look at some of the actors that have been brought in, and the fact that Lance Henriksen keep coming back.
Who was telling me? I can't remember. People have asked me a lot, who would I cast in this?
Yeah. Who would be the modern Vasquez?
I don't know, because you see her as a child, a teenager, and then a young woman. So you'd need three of them.
You could do it. They do it. They're sort of. I'm trying to think of other films and stuff where they've done similar things.
And then her daughter could be not anybody, but you know, I mean, it would. But yeah, I get asked that, who would and I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know, because obviously the original Jeanette is much older than what, I don't know, but I think it would be really cool to see. And again, and a lot of people look at the cover and they're like, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow.
Yeah.
That's her daughter. That's Leticia. That's her daughter.
All right, so wait a minute. So Jeanette Goldstein is the actress. So you
Yes.
named her after the actress. Is
It actually, what happened was essentially because they had never named the first names of the characters. It always just Hicks or Apone. They just the studio essentially just fine. We'll just use the first names of the actors for the characters.
what I didn't realize is Jeanette Goldstein is the mother in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and it just blew my mind when I realized that was Vasquez.
I've heard that.
It was Vasquez. I was like, no way, is that Vasquez?
I heard that.
And I was just like, no way, because she's completely different. You think she's not badass in this. What's the hell's going on?
Yeah, I think it would be a great film. I think the book would be amazing on screen. You could even make it into a series, a standalone, because you do get all these generations of the Vasquez. That's why it's called Aliens Vasquez, not Aliens Jeanette Vasquez, because it's the family.
It's more looking at the Vasquez's entire family rather than just the character. Okay.
Yeah,
It's like
and her legacy.
Yeah, because when Pete showed me, like he said, oh, guess who we've got on the podcast, and I was like, oh, brilliant. And he showed me the picture, and I was like, Vasquez. I said, that's going to be a short book.
Do you know what? I got a 1-star review from somebody.
Really?
They put it on Barnes and Noble, and they put it on Amazon, and they're like, this is so lazy. I was expecting a book about Jeanette, and then halfway through, it's her kids, and it's like, well, you
She does kind of die.
again, like, yeah, she does die, and Aliens book needs aliens.
Yeah, it's, you can't really.
And they're like, wait, it's like if I had written the whole thing about Jeanette, it would just be like any other character. It couldn't be an Aliens book. So I was like, nah. They're like, it's a bait and switch. I'm like, okay, you're thinking about this too hard, but did you realize it isn't again, like tapping on you have some dinosaurs in this dinosaur tour, right?
Is there going to be an audiobook? Is there an audiobook coming?
Oh, it's already out.
Oh wow,
awesome! I'm on that.
It was #1 on audio for a good time. Yeah, it was really cool.
Who was the narrator for it?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have anything to do with it.
No?
They just
narrators are so important. So important. I have this thing. They did it. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see who the narrator is.
Yeah,
because it's an IP and not my own book. Literally once I sign the dotted line, it's like.
It's their property essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, like with my personal book. So I recently, so in April, I have a book coming out called The Haunting of Alejandra, which is about La Llorona and the folktale. It's just a straight horror book, but I got to actually listen to the narrators. And then my other book, The Queen of Cicadas, again, I got to choose the narrator. But for this one, it was just like, oh, it's out. I'm like, okay.
Right. Wow. Did they? Sometimes audiobooks do where they bridge the story down. Was that the case for your audiobook of Vasquez, or was it the full book essentially?
This is a full. I haven't listened. It's a full book. Right. Yeah, I have to do the whole thing. Yeah, literally, I.
Yeah, you have no control, no influence. Yeah. Okay.
Nothing. Right. Like for my books, yes, but something like that. When you write IP,
you're very limited about what you can do after it is, submitted essentially, can't you?
Yeah.
Narrated by Lauren Rodriguez.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't want just a European voice.
Yeah,
We need some kind of that harkens to the culture that Vasquez is from.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I wrote it,
Yeah.
being Mexican American, but also but yeah, I'm glad, they were gonna do right by it. And
Yeah.
I'm really proud of what they've done and proud of people love the cover. I mean, they really went for this. And I mean, yeah, I have like a ton of hardcovers that I'm signing and sending to the US.
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, obviously you said you're a Mexican American, but aren't you're living in London at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I've lived here for 15 years.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I moved here with my son's dad. Um, and yeah, I mean, we co-parent, so I'm
Yeah.
still here. And yeah, I love it though. I mean, I go back a lot for book events, and also my family's there in the US. Um, but I like the UK. Obviously
Yeah.
it's not perfect. Nowhere is
Yeah.
perfect, but um, I don't worry about my kids, gun violence. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I know the NHS isn't perfect, but it's
It's there.
you
It's
you
there.
it's there. Exactly, it's there. If you really need something, it is there, and that's really important to a lot of
Yeah.
people. um and coming from America, it's such a huge issue, healthcare and getting good healthcare.
Yeah.
um
Yeah,
so
I saw a thing. What was it? They interviewed a load of people in the streets and kind of went, so how much do you think having a baby costs in America? And they're all like, does it cost anything? And it's like £1,000. And they're like, I think it was, I can't even remember how much it was. A lot of money just to have a child and to have an inhaler and all these things. And these people are just getting their minds blown and kind of going,
Yeah.
yeah, the NHS isn't perfect, but yeah, you're never ever going to be charged that much money for basic human rights, basically.
no, exactly. And it's, again, yeah, so I'm writing a novel now, um set in London, because I really want to do like a UK
Oh.
crossover book. Yeah, so a werewolf book.
uh,
Oh. Have you ever watched Dog Soldiers?
oh, so
I
good.
love it. It is so
So
good.
Yeah.
good.
It is
Yeah,
so classic.
So
yeah.
quotable as well.
It's really, actually, Janine Pipe did a book. I don't know if you know her on Twitter, a book about the making of Dog Soldiers. It's
Yeah.
called
Oh,
Sausages. Yeah,
do-
she's such a sweetheart.
I wonder. That's the one book that's been on my radar. But I'm going to have to read that book.
It's the bit where
She's yeah.
it's the bit where the Geordie soldiers. I hope I give you the fucking shits.
It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
You know what I saw, which was fun too? I went to Fright Fest in London and saw Wolf Manor, and that was fun.
Oh.
And I also got to see Terrifier 2, which was like, ah!
Oh, see, I've heard about that. I've not seen it yet.
Good as it?
Okay.
Oh, I saw it.
It's
Yeah.
excellent. But
Oh wow.
Terrifier 2, you've got to be into like hardcore horror. Like, you need to
Yeah.
be a fan of slashers. You need to be a fan of real like crazy horror.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not into Chainsaw Massacre, don't go see it.
Did you see On the Edge, that the new Soska film at Fright Fest?
No, I didn't.
Oh right, okay. No, I'm trying to find out any information about it, but it's currently just at the film festivals now. It's not in general release as far as I'm aware.
Oh no, I haven't. No, I only saw the two.
Right.
I only made it out for those two, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm a massive, obviously, American Werewolf in London. I have a nice poster here because I did Comic-Con London and got a
Oh,
really
Did
yeah.
you? Did you?
cool
Okay, cool.
thing. Yeah, so I love an American Werewolf in London. So I'm kind of like, and just playing on being here for 15 years and being an expat, and yeah.
You might say doing a few events. Do you ever come up north to like Derby for the UK Ghost Story Festival in February?
No, but I want to do more UK stuff. It's just because I'm not, as people really don't know me here. Like,
Right.
most of my books are distributed in the US.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm more known in the US than here in the UK when it comes to horror and what I write. But I want to change that, and I think it's slowly changing. But yeah, it's
Well, if you're ever in Manchester, let us know.
Yes, yes. I mean, again, I want more UK events. I did London Comic Con this,
Yeah.
and then next year I have a ton of stuff in the US.
Oh, yeah, so you are crossing across over the quite a fair bit from the sounds of it.
Yeah. So, um, again, because a lot of the events are there,
Yeah.
when it comes to horror and sci-fi and the big ones. But and my family. So
Of course, yeah.
I always try to like in the summer I was there for like 3 weeks
Oh, nice.
and put in as much as I could to like see people, do work stuff, book events.
Yeah.
Where are your family based?
Texas. I have a sister, mostly Texas, but I have a sister in Colorado, a sister in New York, a sister in the South, and she's I mean all over.
I've got
everywhere.
a friend. He's from Northern Ireland, and he's moved to Texas with his missus. He's from England, and they moved over to do because that's where his job is. And he's the most Texas man in Texas now and stuff. He wears the hats, and he has guns and guitars and stuff. I was like, dude, he's fully.
And
embraced.
They probably live in a huge house.
Yeah, it's a massive house, and stuff. And he just sort of like, I was just like, man, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
What's Texas like at the moment?
I mean, when I go to Texas, I just stay with my family inside. I don't do anything. I don't mess with anybody. But I'm from San Antonio, so it's predominantly it's like a huge Latino community.
Right.
But I just go in, I see my friends and my family. I mean, it's really conservative though. And really just the governor. Yeah, this is like shit.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, telling women what to do with their bodies, and it's just shit. Like
no.
Like kiss the cross, and you're like, ew.
No,
that kind of bullshit. Exactly. It's like, kiss my pentagram first.
So are you Wiccan or pagan?
So I I practice something kind of like that. It's called brujeria. It's like the going back to my indigenous beliefs. So it's kind of I would say the Mexican version of that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I do have alternative beliefs.
That's most of us do. I mean, hands up, yes. Basically.
And it's actually I put it in this book actually.
Wow.
So her aunt, Jeanette's sister Rosanna, has crystals. She has the altar in her home.
Oh, nice.
Leticia and gets a huge tattoo of Santa Muerte on her back.
I love when you pronounce things like that. It's awesome.
There's practices. I wanted to show other belief systems. Yeah. And which I do in most of my writing and my books is like, not everybody has to be Christian, and the Christian way isn't always the right way. So I like to show people practicing witchcraft and worshiping the earth and, looking at the stars. And for me, that's what I do. But just a different way of life. I've got like a million tarot cards, like literally.
Oh, wow.
I have I have a whole stack of tarot cards and oracle cards.
Oh,
no way.
Do you have any particular favorites?
Moonology, which is really cool.
Oh, nice.
I like the horror tarot deck is really cool. I mean, it is absolutely. This is by Titan, who published Aliens Vasquez, but the artwork is absolutely stunning.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Like, I mean, the chariot. I mean, look at the King of Wands is like, I mean, it's really just really cool artwork. And yeah, it's just really fun stuff.
Oh yeah, that's amazing artwork. Yeah.
I mean, the detail is super cool. This one's like nice and Lovecraftian.
Oh wow.
Pretty things.
Have you seen
Yeah.
Have you seen the H.R. Geiger tarot deck?
No.
Somebody's going to Amazon next.
I know. First the cookie cutters. Now
I've picked it up. It was a tarot deck inspired. Well, no, not inspired by using Geiger's artwork. I had it, and then Shirley came along. Thought, no, better get these out of the way, and put it on eBay to my idiocy.
Well, do you want us, man? Those H.R. Geiger tarot cards, do you know how much they're going for at the minute?
No, I don't want to know. No, I don't.
They're selling on eBay for 245 quid, 177 quid.
You didn't have to tell me, Matt.
132 quid, 162.
You made your point.
Oh my god!
Yeah, man. They're.
And I picked them up in the works for about a tenner.
Yeah, well, there you go, man. And
we're talking about 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Okay. Wow. No. How cool.
Yeah.
No, I'd like to do my own oracle or tarot deck sometime. I was actually talking to someone and they're like, why don't you do an alien? Why don't you ask about doing an aliens tarot or an aliens aliens oracle, like a 33 card, and kind of have the characters and I was like, that could be interesting.
Do you know Vasquez is the Empress? Or
she could be. She could be the. She could be. So in my book, the High Priestess could be Rosanna, or the High Priestess could be a queen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
a queen. If you, it depends on would you do the whole universe or the films? Yeah. It depends, because then you could have like King of Ripley could be the Queen of Wands.
Yeah,
I think she could be the Queen of Wands. Who would be the Queen of Cups though? See, I don't know. I don't know how you would do it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just kind of going,
You're like, tarot.
Nodding and agreeing. Yeah.
That's why I think an oracle deck would be better, because then you could have a picture of David and be like, watch out for backstabbers. There's a snake in your backyard.
Nice.
Something like that.
Yeah, you'd have to do that. I mean, subject to IP and licensing and all that fun stuff.
It's a cool book. I'm really proud of it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
awesome.
I mean,
I'm gonna stick it on my my audiobook collection and stick it on there and stuff. My boss has recommended me some stuff, but I'm not really currently getting on with it. So I think this will be a good change of pace. So I'll give that a whirl. Give it a listen.
Yeah, nice. I love the fact how you kind of enmesh so much of yours and, to be fair, Vasquez's culture inside the book as well, because you don't get much of it in the film when you're watching it. I mean, she comes across as an equal, but you don't get much of a background and her culture.
Yeah, I wanted to do that because you don't, when you read enough horror and you read enough science fiction, there's like a lot of recycled things. Yeah. And I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to bring in things like Santa Muerte, who, who's on my thing here. A lot of people actually worship Santa Muerte. A lot of people worship Santa Muerte. And it's huge culturally, but it's, actually a mixture of like the Virgin Mary and then the Aztec Queen of the Dead. And I wrote an entire book called The Queen of the Cicadas about her. And she's, rules the underworld when the Mexica worshipped her. So there's all of these different mythologies and different kind of stories and creatures and characters culturally, and I love bringing them into the mix when it comes to horror and sci-fi, because it's something that's there and it's interesting, but hasn't been explored enough.
Yeah.
So again, like, I'm really into crystals, so the Aztecs built a weapon using obsidian, and obsidian's like a powerful crystal. Look, I've got this crystal here that I love that sits on my thing. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I've got a clear quartz one too. But
Question is, do you recharge now? My brother's ex was into her crystals, and he got him some, and she got really annoyed if he didn't recharge them beside the windows and stuff. He had to stick them in the sunlight.
they're right by my window.
Right.
I need to charge the ones in my bedroom.
Yeah, she got really annoyed at him. They're not being charged, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "You need to put them by the window to make sure they're charged." Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But I substitute obsidian for xenomorph teeth.
Ah.
Oh, nice. Very,
Creating
very
a
cool.
weapon making out of xenomorph teeth.
Nice.
Xenomorph teeth. Yeah,
very
but again, it's a weapon that the Aztecs used, and I wanted to just dig into stuff that has not been seen before.
Yes. So you had a lot more creative freedom in a sense.
Yeah. So I'll show you something else cool. There's a because I know you guys, we were talking about Predator.
Yeah.
There's a artist, her name's Maria Wolf. Well, she goes by Maria the Wolf, and she's done a lot for Marvel. Look at this Aztec Predator.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
That's very cool. The detail on that is fantastic.
So she's done a lot of comic books, and I saw her Comic Con San Diego, and I bought that there. And I mean, she's amazing. But again, like, you have a lot of writers from different cultures bringing in their flavor, and it just makes it so cool and interesting and something different.
See, that's what I loved in the film Predators, when you had the Yakuza facing off against the Predator. That scene,
Yeah.
I was just like, awesome, so good and stuff, so good. And there's a thing they're saying, and this would be so good. So because Prey, and it's obviously Native Americans, and it went down really well, great character, really good sort of kind of premise. They're saying they should do the next one in feudal Japan and have him sort of drop down and have a Ronin who's basically, obviously, he's lost his master, he's a Ronin, and then he's basically dealing with the Predator and stuff. And I said, that's such a good idea.
So good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
They'd have to have a writer that is, familiar with the culture, as in like from Japan, and can really kind of embody the culture in the film.
History and the history.
Yeah. My only complaint of Prey was that they never went all the way and had the character speak in their native language. It was
you can have them do it. You can change.
Dubbed.
It's
dubbed.
Oh.
It's not. It's dubbed out. You can have like a version where they speak in English, but
there's a Cherokee.
Cherokee. Well, the native language, because I'm just not going to go into that minefield.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I have no idea.
But you can have it in English, or you can have it in dubbed. So they're still speaking as if saying English words, but dubbed over, and they're just saying it should have just gone all the way and just had them speak in their native language and just give the subtitles. I'll be fine with that, really.
I mean, I think have they done that for some other? I mean, what other movies have they done that for? Something popped in my head and I can't remember.
They've done it a few times.
I've seen that in a few films where they've.
Yeah. Yeah, in the Peripheral,
Comanche. Comanche is.
Yeah, in the Peripheral, they do. They have a scene where people are talking in an encrypted language, and they're suddenly speaking absolute gobbledygook, and then just seeing subtitles. It's just like, this is what we sing.
I prefer old school war movies and stuff. I prefer the ones where they speak their own language and you just have to read subtitles and stuff like that. I hate that sort of kind of when they Americanize things, or they sort of they stick in sort of people to speak in their own language. It's like, just let them speak their own language, and then I'll read subtitles. It makes it a bit more authentic.
Have you guys seen The Lighthouse with William Dafoe?
Oh
no!
Now that needed subtitles. He's speaking English. You can't understand a word he's saying.
Yeah. Well,
William Dafoe's so in character. You can't even understand. I was like, huh? What?
I use subtitles with everything now. I mean, I'm in my 40s. My
I
hearing's
struggle
shot.
sometimes with a Scottish accent.
Yeah, well, I was at a gig many years ago, and there's a band called there used to be a band called Madman is Absolute from Glasgow, and people think the Northern Irish accent when they're speaking fast is bad, but this guy was talking to me after a gig. He was obviously a bit sort of kind of hyped up after the gig, and I was just like, holy shit, this guy's speaking a completely different language. I have no idea what he's saying right now, because he was in pure Glaswegian, and I was just like, yeah, I don't understand. Conversely, a band called Poison the Well were playing in Manchester, and I went up and I was very excited, and I was talking to the bassist, and I was going, man, you're so good, and blah, 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 blah. And he just turned around to me and went, man, I have no idea what you just said to me. It's just like, I'm sorry. I've learned over 21 years of living in Manchester that you have to slow things down, and you have to make sure every word's pronounced, and you say 8 instead of 8, and because people don't understand what you say, and you've got to sort of make sure that they understand what you're saying.
Oh my god!
When I was first starting out as a journalist, I interviewed the Alabama Free, Jake Black and Spirit of Love. Now, Jake, rest his soul, now he passed away a couple of years ago, is from deepest, darkest Wales, and he interviewed them just after their gig when they're hyped up on adrenaline, alcohol, and whoever knows what. And I had no clue what was said in that interview. Even Otter, I mean, this was before Otter, so couldn't rely on a transcription software to sort it out. And my wife and I were kind of going like, rewind, let's listen to this again.
Nope.
Nope. I just had to completely ring it. I think that's what he said. Hopefully. But yeah, I just love stories when they kind of really immerse me in another culture that is not Western, basically Western European. And I mean, there's a lot of, it's sort of room building up now where because our AI is making us weird. Basically, are we all becoming just generic Western European educated, industrialized, rich, democratic nations? And because of the algorithms are basically developed in America, Europe, and not taking account of like other cultures like South America, Eastern Europe, Africa, and all that. So I like the fact when we see different cultures come to the fore in the stories and are presenting the fact that, no, this isn't Christian, this isn't Catholic, this is something completely different, but it's still relevant.
Yeah, I mean, and I think a lot of people, I feel, and maybe just because the people I gravitate towards, they are kind of awakening to other belief systems.
Yeah.
They are awakening to different ways of viewing the world, viewing the afterlife, viewing what the soul is, what's out there in the universe. And that's why sci-fi is so cool. And, last time I checked, there probably ain't no Catholics or Christians or anything on some other planet out there. They'll be like, you believe in what?
Well, yeah, that's
you believe in who?
Yeah.
So, we have this, sometimes I think humans get caught up in like where the end all be all, but then you reach towards science fiction, you reach to horror, and you get into the supernatural or the occult or different beliefs, and there's a whole other world out there, and I love that about science fiction.
Yes, cohesive world building.
There's just so much you can do when you go beyond Earth and kind of human thinking and humanity and the way we've evolved. It's cool to think how other places and beings would evolve.
There's there was a series on Netflix where they basically had I can't remember what it's called now. So it's basically they go through the evolution of different animals on different planets as if it was like a David Attenborough thing. And it's like they've got all these things because the atmosphere is like this and because this is it's so good. It was so well done. And they did one where it's basically a humanoid planet where they've evolved past needing bodies, and they all have these sort of kind of like tanks where the brains, and not the brains, where they're sort of kind of essences, and it needs to, they have robots that sort of kind of need to sort of kind of deal with this, and it's how they sort of get around it. It was really well done, really good.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was really good. I
That
think
sounds really interesting.
it's on Netflix. I'll have to try and find out what it's called and stuff. But it's basically like a nature program, but done with like alien creatures and stuff, and it's really well done.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So where do you go from here? I mean, like Vasquez is out there, you know, it's doing really well. I mean, have you got another Vasquez book in the works? Can we expect something?
Yeah, I mean, I need to write a pitch for the second one, and like have that whole outline. So thinking about that, but there's so many places I could take it.
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm waiting for. I typically don't read reviews, but I want to get a little more feedback to see what do people want to read about? What do they want to see? Because I left it where it is a standalone story, but also when you finish it, you're like, ooh, where are they going now? What's happening now?
Yeah, there's the foundations.
Yes, exactly. So basically write the pitch for that, decide what direction I want to go. But, you know, I have a few other things coming out. So I have on December 6th, Out of Aztlan, which is short story collections, like novella length. It's really small. And that's more like fantasy horror. I just put out for Christmas a little novelette, really short, on a horror Christmas story, a little erotic horror Christmas story called Las Posadas. But then the next big book is The Haunting of Alejandra, which comes out in April with Del Rey. And that's going to be interesting. That's going to be cool. But for Aliens, yeah, just writing the pitch, really putting it together, see what people want to see more of. This one will be a lot more aliens, like from the get-go, because we've already established that. And, you know, we've covered the backstory, we've covered the character development. But I think for the second one, you'd see a lot more Weyland-Yutani's, you know, politics going on, a little more of the xenomorphs, and I don't know, maybe some chaos on Earth.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be very cool. What I've been wanting to ask is, did you ever play the Alien role-playing game?
No, I have not.
Pete's got all of them.
Goodness.
Pete's got all of them, basically.
Wow.
Any RPG that has ever existed, Pete has got on that shelf right back there.
I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm not that bad. Nearly that bad, but not that bad.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I've got enough. It's enough of my life with it to start doing our Dungeons and Dragons thing every week, let alone having new mechanics to go through and stuff. And that series is called Alien Worlds. It's on Netflix.
All right, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Alien Worlds.
I actually wrote some pitches for Robert E. Howard, who did Conan.
Oh, that would be very interesting. Like, he was given. Yeah, I'd love to see your take on Conan, because it's very kind of, you know, masculine fighting men fighting monsters. But
there's a Red Sonja. Series coming out soon, isn't there?
Well, I would love to. I was a huge Red Sonja fan. I really wanted to, but it's owned by its own licensor now. So yeah, it's not part of the
Robert E. Howard.
So yeah, no. And so the pitches I wrote were not for Conan himself. They were for the female characters in the Robert E. Howard series. So some of the major ones like Belit and Valeria, I think, and a few others.
Yeah, I only know Conan from Robert E. Howard. I've never really read much of his books.
Well, they are in the Conan books, but they're the big females, like Red Sonja.
Okay.
But unfortunately, she's not in. It's a different. It's all
licensing.
chopped and changed.
It's
Yeah.
licensing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a what was it? There's in the Conan films. I'm trying to find the name of the character. Conan the Barbarian.
What? Yeah.
We did a when we our last Dungeons and Dragons series would have been two or three sessions ago. I did a reference to Conan the Barbarian, where cause basically one of my brother's character had basically an unrequited love who was killed in one of the sessions, but he didn't realize, and then she basically has like this sort of. He had given her his mother's sort of bracelet and the necklace, and it had this sort of kind of soul shard thing in it, which basically, when she died, it absorbed a part of her sort of kind of being, and she basically does the Conan the Barbarian thing. So he's basically got to the point where he had this very sort of desperate thing. He was about to be killed. He was about to have, I had this role for your death because, basically, are you going to say anything before you die? Because this Naga is going to come down with a spear and kill you and stuff. And he's saying his thing, and he's about to do it, and then his sort of this spirit appears, and then sort of kind of blocks the spear and says, "Are you going to live forever?" And then lets him run off, like in Conan the Barbarian. I was like, yeah, come on, let's do it. So I took that. Well, I stole that from Conan the Barbarian. But yeah.
Sorry, I have a teenager son.
What did you think of the new Conan film from 2016? Was
2011.
Was that with Jason Momoa?
2011.
I mean, it was all right. I have a soft spot for the old stuff.
Yeah. The classics.
I'm sorry, I just love the old stuff. I know it's kind of like, when they redid It. I mean, Tim Curry as Pennywise. You just cannot.
Skarsgård's a pretty good Pennywise, to be fair. I think
he is, but then like the CGI, I like the old, like the grease paint.
What about your boat? Hey, Georgie.
I just think. but I just don't like it. I like the old stuff because that's what I would see on the street, and that scares me more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it's so realistic. It scares me more.
Well, because the practical effects, it was genuine and real, and somebody was doing that. It's not just like somebody editing a image on
exactly, and it just looked so like. I mean, we all know it's like a computer generated image. It's not as scary.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know. It's kind of like the old Exorcist, it looks bad, but it's still.
Yeah, to be honest, when I was younger, it scared the shit. I used to have nightmares about that film and stuff because it was so scary. But now you go back and you watch it and you think, okay, that's a bit tame now. You sort of kind of go, compared to stuff you get now.
But when you watch it, and like when you see, I guess, possession stuff now, the only one that really scared me, and only the first time I saw it, was The Conjuring.
Oh, yeah.
The one that freaked me out the most out of sort of kind of the newer ones was Paranormal Activity, and it was simply the bit where she gets trailed out of bed, and I was like, nope, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, Paranormal Activity is crazy.
Yeah,
it is scary.
Yeah.
Japan's Ring.
Oh yes,
the first one that was really well done. That really got to the skin, and also a video game called Fatal Frame.
I'm not sure if I've played that.
It's PlayStation 1, otherwise known as Project Zero on the Xbox, where basically you don't actually have any weapons. You're just walking around with a mystical camera, and ghosts just lunge towards you.
There's a Stephen King book, or there's a story in one of those books. I can't remember. Is it Nightmares and Dreamscapes, where basically there's somebody with a camera, and every time they take a picture, the dog in the picture gets closer to the camera until it comes out of the camera. But yeah, I'm sure that's it, unless I've completely made that up. I'm sure there's a Stephen King short story about that.
Yeah, but that it's like the Fatal Frame games will just really go under my skin, and it was just like, nope. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to play it. Then it'll be like 10 minutes later, I'll be hunched over going, I am bricking myself completely.
I'm sort of more. I don't really like sort of gory stuff because I'm a bit squeamish when it comes to blood and things like that. But I like the psychological things. I loved Blair Witch Project. I thought the first one was was really good.
And at the end, just like
Yeah,
standing in the corner, you're like, oh.
I freaked out, and I live like I'm not. I'm not. I don't overly believe in sort of kind of the sort of thing. I'm unfortunately a boring atheist and stuff, so I have sort of these things. But when I was younger, I was very, very into this sort of thing, and I remember going to watch it, and I remember coming back, and my car got a flat tire outside this sort of kind of old, what used to be a courthouse in Northern Ireland, in the middle of nowhere, and they used to hang people from it and stuff. And I got a flat tire there. I just watched the Blair Witch Project. I've never changed a tire so fast in my entire life. I was just like, I am not staying here. It was horrible. I was just like, oh man, yeah. So. Yeah, that freaked me out. But the bit where he's standing in the corner at the end, it was just like, wow,
so frightening.
Yeah,
like,
not knowing stuff like that still freaks me out now. Like if it's the not knowing and that's sort of kind of what's going on. That's the unknown is what freaks me out. When you see a monster and when you see sort of, it's like Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers was freaky until he turned into the monster, and then you kind of went, it's a monster.
Okay, yeah, it looks like big fish.
Yeah, he's a monster now. So it's like, but it's sort of when it's something you don't know and psychological and stuff, it's really freaky. Yeah. Like there's a film called Ghost Stories with what's his name? He plays Bilbo Baggins in the Hobbit films, and he was in The Office.
Oh yes, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. It's basically about a skeptic who goes in and he's got there's a lot more to it because it's the guy who does Darren Brown's stage shows, and he also does he's the fourth League of Gentlemen member because he does the writing of it. He doesn't star in the series and stuff, but he's basically a skeptic, and he goes and he interviews these three people who've had paranormal
I think I've seen that a long time ago.
It's so good. But the thing is, it's got a really good twist to the end. It ties it all. It's one of those ones, like if you've ever seen a film called The Babadook, it's an Australian.
Yes.
It's like it's kind of like The Babadook. Freaky. Yeah. So it's basically got at the end there's a sort of moral to it, sort of like about sort of dealing with despair and stuff like that. So it's like and that's what the whole thing's about. So it's a similar sort of thing that, so you've got these three stories and then it all links together from the end and stuff. But it's some really, really freaky stuff in that film, because it's just like, it's completely all playing with your mind. So good.
Oh.
So good. Yeah.
I love horror.
Yeah, I could like the psychological stuff, like things like where it's just gore, just doesn't do much for me. I get the jump scare, but I'm just like freak out. Event Horizon, that was a film that gave me absolute nightmares for so long.
And Sam Neill is just like, he's amazing. But yeah, Event Horizon is one of those films that just, again, a sci-fi horror that you're like, it's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
Yeah. I really wish they'd kept like the cuts in a safe, in a better condition, because they found them in an old salt mine, and all the original print had just completely corroded, so they couldn't restore it to the director's cut.
I would totally write a Event Horizon book.
I'm down.
They say it's based on
I would take them to hell, man. I would be like, there'd be some hooves. There'd be the devil.
Well, they say it's based on the Warhammer 40k universe. They say, so the whole sort of kind of sort of warp travel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, before we finish, first up, what we usually do at the end of our podcast is we have a bit of a pop quiz type thing. So what we do is you have to we will all sort of name think of a character from a franchise, and it has to be something geeky that we're probably going to know and stuff. It can't be something too obscure, Peter, that we don't. Pete goes really obscure comic book characters and stuff that nobody knows, but you're just like, So basically, you need to choose a franchise. So it could be anything. It could be sci-fi. It can be, something sci-fi, horror, anything that maybe we might be able to guess. And then you think of a character. We've got 60 seconds to try and guess who that character is. So you can have a think about it. Pete will go first. So
will I? Oh,
yes,
okay.
you will go first because you'll go first.
Okay.
Oh God.
So you understand what it is. Let me get a stopwatch out.
Okay.
Okay. So. Right. Okie dokie. So Pete, what are we going for?
Okay, we're going with Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Oh, interesting. Okay, Blade Runner. Right. So what you do is we go Blade Runner 60 seconds, and then we've got to ask him questions, and he can say yes or no, and you can sort of ask things. So we'll go from there, and we've got 60 seconds to do it. So Blade Runner, 60 seconds, go. Is he a replicant? Are they a replicant?
No.
Is he a creator?
Pardon? Is he creator?
A creator. Does he
Yes.
create?
Oh, is it
I can't remember his name. The guy who makes them all.
What's his name? Oh my
He's
god.
so cool with the glasses.
No. Well, he does wear glasses.
He's almost like a toy maker, almost.
No, he's not a toy maker.
Oh, so it's not
He
that
reminds me of-
guy. Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Edward Olmos, his character. No, he's isn't
No,
he like
He's
Hudson?
LAPD.
So what's the guy? Look, where's my eye? Oh, am I cheating looking at my eye?
Go right ahead. Yeah, I know.
I don't even see the app.
Oh god. I know who you're talking about. I can't picture. There's no point in me asking questions because I know who
I
it
know
is.
the guy because he's like tinkering with them, and he's like quite small, and he's in this big cavernous apartment, right, by himself, or this mansion. What's his name?
No. All right, Pete, give us a clue because we don't usually do clues, but you're gonna.
I don't know
give us a
his
clue.
name.
A clue. He's in the pyramid.
I can see him.
I know. I'm on IMDb because I can't remember his name.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Tyrell?
Bingo.
Yeah, there we go. We'll take that as a win. We'll take the win for that one, Pete. That's it.
I could see him straight away. I love that character because he's just so like a kid, but he's old, and he's like, it's almost like he's created this like toy box.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so kind of.
Okay, Violet.
Dreadful character.
Your turn. So you're gonna name. It could be any sort of franchise you want. It could be Marvel, Star Wars, anything. Sort of whatever your sort of nerdy sort of background is. Pursuits are. Something we'll potentially know.
Okay.
Okay.
Blade.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. Now, Pete, you're being our resident vampire expert. Should be on it like a carb on it. Okay, so Blade, 60 seconds. Go. Vampire?
Yes.
Original film?
Yes.
Okay.
Are they in any of the other Blade films?
No.
Male or female?
I don't know. Actually, quite androgynous.
Oh.
Are they archivist?
Yes.
You
know which one?
Yes.
I don't know.
The archivist gets roasted with a UV lamp.
Yeah, that one.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, now we're all cheating. Now we're all going to IMDb. This pop quiz is a sham. This pop quiz is a sham.
I'm walking because my thing is a
Pearl.
Yes, Pearl. That's right.
Oh, very good.
I love
good.
Blade. Blade
Yeah,
to me.
it's such a
It'd
fantastic.
be interesting to see what they do with the new one. See what they do
I
with the new Blade.
really hope they keep the same style of the original Blade trilogy. Because I'd be disappointed if they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, what am I going to go for? Now, I would do Aliens, but there's a very limited amount of characters. So I'm not going to be able to catch you on any of those and stuff because you're going to name. You're just going to go, are they a Marine? Yes. Are they? And then just go through the name of the Marines, and then you're going to get them and stuff. So I'm not going to go for Aliens because it's a bit too easy. I am going to go for. Who am I going to go for? I am going to go for what other sort of kind of things are you into sci-fi wise and stuff? Franchises are you into?
Predator. I like them all. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. Like I love Predator. Like I said, I love.
All right, I'll go for.
I do watch Star Wars. I am a Star Wars fan.
I'll go for Predator. Okay.
Okay.
We'll go for Predator. Let me just check something. I'm going to be vague about the. So bear with me 1 minute. Oh no! That might be a bit too obvious. Ooh, interesting. Wait, it's going to be all right. It's going to be, going to be. Oh no! What is it going to be? All right, okay.
I think you're like battling yourself.
No. Okay. All right.
He's
Okay.
doing his own in his own mind.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. It's probably easy, but we'll go for it anyway. Predator films. 60 seconds. Go.
LAPD.
No.
Okay. Are they human?
They are human.
Okay. Are they in the original Predator film?
Yes.
Okay. Are they one of the Marines? The soldiers? Okay.
Anna.
Oh, God damn it.
Very well.
You know who I thought at first when he said the Predator films, and you were like, I thought you were going to do the the voodoo chieftain in the second one.
Oh
yeah.
Character.
Oh, he's so good. Yeah. But no. I was gonna go Predator 2 because it's an underrated film. I love Predator 2.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I do too. I think it, and like Bill Paxton is like in every.
Yeah. He used to be the only actor who'd been killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator until I think Alien versus Predator came out. Then Lance Hendrickson had been killed by all of them. But yeah, Anna, quality. Brilliant. Okay. Well, it's been super interesting.
Yes, thank you so much.
I will get an audio copy of your book and give it a listen because I'm very interested. I think that's going to be great.
Thank you.
Is there anywhere specific people can get it other than sort of Audible and things like that?
Yeah, I mean it's available everywhere. You can just get it anywhere pretty much. Hardback only though. There's no paperback available yet. It's a hardback, Kindle, or audio. So that is out now. And Las Posadas is just like a little novelette, very short. That's just ebook. Out of Aztlan, December 6th. That's a short story collection. Mestiza Blood is out now. That's all Mexican folklore, like proper horror, like horror. Goddess of Filth, horror novella, Possession, The Craft, and The Queen of Cicadas, which is like a hate crime mixed with Aztec folk mythology and death by cockroach, death by snake bite.
Nice.
Awesome. Very nice. Cool. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It was really fun.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come back on whenever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you're ever in Manchester, let us know. And
definitely. I need to make it up north.
Yeah, up
definitely.
North. Yeah, north of the wall. Cool. All right. For me, I've been Matt Gary. With me tonight has been Peter Ray Allison.
Good night, everyone.
And our special guest, Violet Castro.
Bye. Thank you.